Chapter 13. Out of the Frying Pan. Camp Navarro, JSOTFP Headquarters. Matt was taken to the base's surgical suite, while Jack, Carlos, and Sal were escorted to the base's detention cells after being determined that they were okay by the PJs. The trio were tired, with blood and dirt all over their skin and ripped clothes. A squad of the Navy's Master-at-Arms security guards had fingerprinted and taken them to get showered, along with giving them detention uniforms. From there, Jack, Sal, and Carlos sat in a cold, white-painted cell with 2 bunk beds welded into the walls and a metal toilet and sink in the corner. Jack struggled to decompress after his first experience with Mortal Kombat. In the heat of the moment, he hadn't dwelled on it, but now, without his natural fight-or-flight response, he was forced to reflect on the memory of the man he'd killed with a knife, the heat of combat, the brutal death of Dr. Taylor, and his failure to save Maria. Overwhelmed by these thoughts, he rushed to the toilet and vomited. Carlos, sensing his distress, got up from his bed to offer comfort to Jack. "Hey man, you're good. You did good out there, man," Carlos said in a reassuring voice. "I couldn't save her," Jack lamented, with a mix of anger, sadness, and desperation in his voice. "Dude, we'll save her soon. We'll find a way out of here and get the girl," Carlos said, slapping Jack on the back in the same friendly manner he always had. "You'll do no such thing," someone from outside the cell said. Jack, Carlos, and Sal looked to see who was on the other side of the bar. There stood a man and a woman. The man was about 6'2", with bulging yet lean muscles wrapped in a pink island shirt, cargo shorts, and flip-flops. His jet-black hair was combed in a neat part, and his ice-cold eyes were accented with a scar along the right side. In his left arm, he was holding a set of files. The woman was a Marine Corps major with a sharp and scowling face and black hair neatly gelled into her bun. Her uniform indicated that her last name was Flores. "You boys are headed back to the States. There's a huge mess that now needs to be cleaned up by us," the woman said. "We were attacked. There is still an American hostage out there," Jack protested. The woman held his hand up to silence Jack. "We know, Jack Carter, age 26, former reconnaissance Marine with 1st and 3rd Recon, now enrolled at Cal State Northridge for political science. Seriously, with your ASVAB scores, you couldn't get in anywhere else?" the woman taunted. "I have files on the rest of you. Carlos Ortega, age 26, former Navy SARC with some death threats coming from Venezuelan women. And Javier Salvatore, age 29, a former Bortac agent until your mission wasn't worth it, right?" the woman continued to taunt. That shot Sal up from his bed in anger. The man outside the cell continued to study and observe the three. "My name is Major Flores. Behind me is Mr. Stray," she explained. "We have actionable intel about the location of Miss Maria Gutierrez, but we need more information. So, who's going to be my volunteer?" After a few moments of looking at each other in silence, Jack spoke up. "I'll go." Jack was released and walked with Major Flores and Mr. Stray to an interrogation room. He had left one white-walled room for another. This time, the standard table and chairs, along with the elongated mirror that was obviously a one-way window, were present in the cold and emotionless room. "So, Mr. Carter, let me preface this by saying that an American company being slaughtered by Islamic fundamentalists, even though they had security for them, is a pretty big deal for the reputation of both the Filipino government and your company, Boone Tactical." Major Flores looked directly into Jack's eyes. "If we don't get her, it's going to look a hell of a lot worse for the United States, which means that the president will probably authorize a full-scale invasion of this lovely archipelago. I know you missed the war, but another one does not sound too good right now." Jack looked at her intense face with understanding, but it became personal to him when they took Maria from him. "So, tell me what happened," Major Flores asked. Jack opened up to Major Flores, sharing the details of his relationship with Maria. He explained their involvement in Westpac's quest for General Yamashita's treasure and their discovery of a nearby gold cache. Jack also revealed Maria's pursuit of a mystical artifact known as Trishula, though he could tell through her face that she started to lack belief in the story. Mr. Stray, behind her, though, perked up his ears with casual interest. In truth, Jack harbored doubts about the existence of a godlike artifact. He suspected that Maria might have used her knowledge of something valuable to negotiate for his safety with their captors. Despite his skepticism, Maria had tried to save his life, and Jack felt a profound moral obligation to return the favor, even if it meant going against his own government. Major Flores leaned back in her chair, her fingers massaging her temples. "What the actual hell?" she asked herself calmly, regaining her composure. "All right, your little treasure raider fantasy is going to end. I'm going to send up my intelligence reports so we can draft up a plan. It's just a matter of time before JSOC goes in and rescues your little girlfriend," Major Flores announced. Jack wasn't satisfied with the answer. Mr. Stray saw it on his face, along with Major Flores. That was when she sternly stared at Jack. "You are going home. Maria will be fine. This little adventure is over," she commanded. Jack feigned compliance, and Major Flores sent him back to Carlos and Sal. When he heard JSOC, he knew that some Tier 1 unit like DevGru or CAG would be able to save Maria without a problem. Yet, something deep inside told him that this was his mission. When he was first indoctrinated in the fire of combat, the adrenaline and terror shocked him, but he was ready and willing to go again. Andre gave him the mindset and heart of a warrior, but Maria gave him something to fight for. Jack got back to Carlos and Sal, who were relaxing in the bunks of the holding cell. As soon as Major Flores and Mr. Stray left, Jack was overcome with frustration and anger. He slammed the brick wall with his fist. The pain in his knuckles was numbed by the rage, and he continued to punch the wall again and again until his knuckles bled. "Jack, stop!" Carlos grabbed him away from the blood-covered wall. "It's my fault," Jack growled, trying to contain his guilt and rage. "Dude, it's not your fault, man," Sal chimed in. "I didn't save her," Jack said with tears breaking through his eyes. "Bro, you helped save somebody else. Somebody that was literally going to die," Carlos added with reassurance. All Jack could do was hug Carlos, his brother in arms, as he tried to suppress his rage. Both Carlos and Sal knew Jack's pain, but Sal lay still in his bed, pondering the horror of the situation, while Carlos brought Jack back to a sense of serenity. Jack regained his composure, hating himself for letting his emotions loose. Only determination filled his eyes. "I need to save her," Jack said. "And we got your back," Carlos smiled and patted Jack's shoulder. "How the hell are we going to do that?" Sal asked. "Sure as hell not without my help," Mr. Stray said, coming into view from the bars of the cell. "My name is Jason Stray, and I can offer you the work that you're looking for." Jason couldn't help but overhear the entire conversation between Jack Carter and his companions, and he was deeply moved by the conviction and determination coming from Jack. Although Jack, Sal, and Carlos weren't officially employees of the U.S. government, Jason saw them as potential assets he could recruit to assist him in gathering crucial intelligence in the region. What struck Jason most was the evident camaraderie and teamwork that defined the trio. The way they had worked together under the dire circumstances of their escape from the village left a strong impression on him. It made him wonder about the full extent of their capabilities. If they could operate under duress and escape that village, then what else could they do? Jason pondered. The trio was released and were each given a set of civilian clothes on their way to the unremarkable steel building that housed the intelligence center. Once inside, Jason, Jack, Carlos, and Sal studied the large TV screen where the bird's-eye view from a satellite detailed a small, abandoned colonial port town in the midst of dense jungle vegetation. The structures were old Spanish in their architecture, with cobblestone roads and a large church in the center of the town. The wood from the docks had withered and decayed from the passage of time. "This is the port of San Martin," Jason briefed. "An old ghost town from when the Spanish colonized the Philippines." Official records have it labeled abandoned. However, imagery intelligence points out that there are multiple militant individuals who are now moving into this town from the sea. Our sat feed tracked the helicopter to this location, and it can be seen that our hostage, Miss Maria Gutierrez, was transported from the helicopter to the church here in the middle of the town. I'm recruiting you guys to first initiate reconnaissance of the town before an NSW team and I go in and secure the hostage. Why can't we go on the assault? Don't you guys have ISR drones or something? Jack asked. Our problem, Mr. Carter, is that there are automated SAM sites here and here, Jason answered, switching to 2 low-resolution images of rocket-mounted turrets within the peaks of the hills surrounding the valley. How the hell did a bunch of extremists get a hold of those? Sal was perplexed. We think it was the salesmanship of our boy Cody Armano, Jason continued to explain, pulling up the picture of the man in the green suit. His face was carved into Jack's mind. He didn't know who he was, but he wanted revenge. While his exterior image is superfluous and honestly cringeworthy, Cody Armano is an American arms dealer. I find it unusual that he was able to find out about your archaeological expedition, but he is a believer in the occult and mystic, Jason continued, while switching through slides of Cody's social media posts. In his posts were comments on New Age ideas like zodiac signs and psychics. Interestingly, he also looked to be on the bandwagon of pro-left social justice, despite his secret occupation. He looks to be the type to have a salt lamp, Carlos joked. And probably a few chakra rocks next to his bed, Jason continued in a straight voice, yet adding jest with Carlos. So, what's he doing in San Martin? Sal asked. He's gonna try and get Maria to tell him about Trishula, Jack interrupted. Carlos and Sal looked at him in confusion. We found a clue inside the bunker, Jack tried to explain while realizing how far-fetched the story actually was. And Maria, thinks that there is a supernatural Hindu god's weapon hidden somewhere at that location. That's why she got kidnapped? Sal asked, irritated. I know, but she tried to save my life with that story, Jack contested. Even if it is a bogus claim, we still have only a short amount of time before they realize that Maria was leading them on. Fair enough, Jason said. We'll sort out this superstitious hocus-pocus later. I want you 3 to reconnoiter the area and disable the SAM sites before DevGru lands on the X. If you want in, you all have till dawn to plan this out and brief it to me. The 3 of them looked at each other, not showing any signs of backing down. Another thing too, Jason continued. You are not official American agents. You are my assets. If caught or captured, the U.S. government will disavow all knowledge of what happened here. So, are you in? The trio stood stiff at that realization. Being American military and law enforcement brought a certain sense of security through the amount of backup that they all could receive when they went out on a mission and things were getting bad. When they left the base's gate the next morning, they were on their own. I'm in, Jack said, stoic and determined that this was his mission and his calling. Me too, Carlos added. He had been like a brother to Jack since nearly drowning in the pool while training to be a Recon Marine and SARC. He wasn't going to let him down or let him get all the action either. All right, let's go, Sal mentioned nonchalantly. While not expressing emotion, he felt that there was a sense of righteousness in rescuing someone with Jack and Carlos. Jason smiled and dropped a set of keys. To the gear room and armory, check the stuff out in my name, but please don't mess up the stuff, okay?